Now, the points that we decided to put up for discussion tonight are a couple of problems that confront the new generation of revolutionists assembled here, whose introductory experience has been much different from that of the originators of our movement 38 years ago. We had had a lot of experience in the mass movement prior to our expulsion from the Communist Party. And then we were suddenly cast out of the Communist Party and the movement and isolated from practically all external activities for a number of years. We were blacklisted and proscribed as counter-revolutionists. There was not much doing in the labor movement as such. In the unemployment movement that started in the first years of the Depression, we were artificially kept out by the Stalinists who had it under control. And the result was that our movement had to turn inward. It was partly our own choice. And we put in about 5 years of intensive discussion in the party and in our press of the great international issues of the time. The Russian question in the first place, the German question in the years leading up to the triumph of fascism, the counter-program of the left opposition of the United Front against fascism, which was rejected in Germany both by the Social Democrats and the Stalinists, and resulted in the terrible catastrophe of the fascist victory in 1933. The issue of the Spanish Revolution that began in that period, the lessons of the Anglo-Russian Committee in connection with the British general strike, the lessons of the Chinese Revolution, all problems of world import and the deepest theoretical significance were studied by our young movement, and our comrades were educated both in the discussion of these issues and in the polemical struggle against the Stalinists and Social Democrats and other reformist tendencies in the labor movement. The result was that when the mass movement really opened up after 5 years of our isolation, and we had in the meantime assembled some cadres, we were well equipped to plunge into the mass movement effectively, because we had solved in our own ranks and in the minds of our new comrades most of the important problems, and they were able to make outstanding successes in one place after another in the mass movement in conflict with the other tendencies. Now there's a peculiar phenomenon apparent in the past few years in connection with what they call the New Left. That's the appearance of a widespread movement, especially amongst college students, of antagonism to the existing state of affairs, combined with an indifference to theory and program, and a general tendency to turn their back on all the experiences and lessons of the past. And I see in this movement, which gets a lot of uncritical praise in many circles, a dual quality. One that is positive is the obvious sincerity and earnestness and at least semi-seriousness of thousands and thousands of young people in their revolt against the sick society in which they live, their tendency to disavow it. That's positive. their tendency to assume that all previous experience is useless and that we can start with a clean slate as if nothing had happened in the past is not only the greatest absurdity, but it contains within it the danger of a total collapse of the entire movement and a black eye to the whole movement of student protest.